Okay, the next lesson for Chapter 3 Data Management is on scatter plots. We are going to look at scatter plots in 4 different ways. We are first going to look at the definition of a scatter plot. What is a scatter plot? We are then going to look at some characteristics of scatter plots. And finally, we will look at some examples and non-examples of scatter plots. So a scatter plot is a type of graph that is used to show the relationship between two variables. And in data management, we use the word correlation. Correlation just means relationship. Once data is plotted, then we can make conclusions about the way this data has been scattered. We then can make predictions about the future using the data as well. Next up, we are going to look at the characteristics of scatter plots and how we can identify a scatter plot. So here we see that scatter plots have many points. They also have different coordinates. So there's 2 coordinates that we need to know, the x and y axes. The x-axis is known as the independent variable, meaning that no matter what, it does not change. The y-axis is the dependent variable, meaning that it does change. The last thing we need to know regarding the characteristics of scatter plots is that correlations mean the relationships between the x and y variables. So we can see that in this graph right here as an example, we see that there is a positive correlation. We see that as the x-axis numbers go up, so does the y-axis. We are now going to look at some examples of scatter plots and the positive correlations, negative correlations, or no correlations they can show. So we're going to look at this example of a restaurant who's trying to figure out ordering supplies. So to manage ordering supplies more effectively, 3 scatter plots were made to see if there was any correlation between daily temperatures and sales of ice cream, hamburgers, and coffee. So we see in the first graph with regarding ice cream sales, we see a positive correlation. So a positive trend, meaning that as one of the values increases, the other one increases as well. In this example, we see that as temperatures go up, so do the sales of ice cream. We see that in the second graph, we see that there is a negative correlation. So there's a negative trend. As one set of values increases, the other set decreases. So we see that in this example, as temperatures went up, hamburger sales went down. So this would be known as a negative correlation. Lastly, we see with coffee sales, we see no correlation. So no correlation means that there's no trend, there's no relationship between the the x-axis and the y-axis. So the points are scattered randomly with no visible pattern. So we see here that as temperature went up, there was no apparent effect on coffee sales at all. Now it's your turn. In your OneNote binder, you will find a sheet of paper that you're going to have to fill out for homework. The first question is regarding this. You need to circle whether this is a positive, negative, or there's no correlation. When we see the word trend, think of correlation, relationship. So circle whether you think this graph is a positive trend, negative trend, or no trend at all. Same with this question. Is it positive, negative, or is there no correlation? Same with the third graph. Positive, negative, no correlation. Finally, we're going to look at these 4 graphs. You have to look at the data at the top and tell me what you think, what graph best describes this data. Next, I want you to plot the following data in this graph. And please do so in OneNote and answer questions C and D. Thank you.